Welcome to another intensive review. So ngayon pag-usapan naman natin kung paano isa-solve yung intermediate value theorem and the intermediate zero theorem. So ito yung mga theorem regarding your continuity of a function. So balikan na natin yung intermediate value theorem. Suppose meron tayong function na tuloy-tuloy continuous on the closed and bounded interval AB, ito, and your f of A is not equal to your f of B, then for any number k na nasa pagitan po ng f of A and f of B, may nag-i-exist na letter C, okay? Which is an element of your interval AB such that f of C is equal to k. So here, unang problem, we will determine if the intermediate value theorem holds for the function f, the closed interval AB, and the given value of k. So meron tayong given interval, closed interval, and we have the value of your c. Okay? If the theorem does not hold, it will state the reason. If the theorem holds, compute the number c in A, B such that f of c is equal to k. Let's say for example, letter A. So we have given function 8 over 2x minus 1. Given interval po natin is closed interval po ito kasi meron tayong brackets AB which is equal to negative 1, 3. So part ng solution ay negative 1 and also 3. And our k is equal to negative 1.6. Okay? So yung function natin, 8 over 3x minus 1, magiging undefined lamang siya if the function is what? If the value of your x is equal to 1/3. Tama? Kasi 3 times 1/3 is equal to 1 minus 1, that is 0. Magiging undefined yung function natin if x is equal to 1/3. So pwedeng ting sabihin that the domain of your function are all real numbers except to what? Except to 1/3. Lahat ng real numbers is the domain of your function maliban lamang sa 1/3 kasi magiging undefined siya. Okay? So hindi siya continuous. Yung function natin is this continuous or not continuous on the closed interval what? Negative 1, 3. Okay? Hindi siya tuloy-tuloy at the given interval negative 1, 3. Bakit? Kasi if x is equal to 1/3, which is part of your interval, makikita po yung 1/3 natin sa pagitan ng negative 1 and 3, then the function is not continuous kasi nga undefined yung function natin. Okay? Consequently, the conclusion of your IVT or the intermediate value theorem may not hold or also. Okay, so the theorem of intermediate value theorem does not hold kasi nga discontinuous na yung ating function. So to further illustrate this point, we will consider a number. Ito, gagamitin natin para masabi natin na hindi hinuhold ng intermediate value theorem yung function natin. So, say k is equal to negative 1.6. Aalamin natin kung saang value ng x nag-lies yung negative 1.6, 6 rather, okay? So, sabi natin kina yung interval natin is negative 1, 3. So, let's solve for negative 1. Okay, if x is equal to negative 1, ano ang magiging function natin? Kasi kasama yung negative 1. So the functions become 8 over 3 times negative 1 minus 1. Simplify. We get negative 3 minus 1. 8 over negative 4, or that is negative 2. Okay? So if x is equal to negative 1, then your f of x is equal to negative 2. So how about if, ito naman, yung 3. So if x is equal to 3, positive, function becomes 3 times 3 minus 1, that is 8 over 9 minus 1, that is 8 over 8, or that is 1. So if x is equal to 3, then your f of 3 is equal to 1. And the only number, c, that will satisfy the value of k is what? So we will check kung ano yung value ng c that will satisfy your k. Kung pasok ba siya sa ating given intervals, okay, or not. Sabi natin kanina, hindi siya tuloy-tuloy at negative 1, 3. So, check natin kung pasok yung C natin. Okay, if our K is equal to negative 1.6, paano ang gagawin? So, we will set f of c is equal to k. Ito yung isa sa mga condition ng ating intermediate value theorem. So lahat ng your function becomes k daw, and your k is 1.6. So we will equate 8 over 3x minus 1 is equal to the value of k, which is 1.6, cross multiply. So we get negative 1.6 times 3x minus 1. Simplify. So ito, distribute. We get negative 4.8x. Ito naman, distribute. We get positive 1.6. Then, dito natin ilalagay. So, ano lang, transpose yung 1.6 sa kabila. So, magiging 8 minus 1.6 is equal to negative 4.8x. Ito, this will become what? So, 8 minus 1.6, the answer is 6.4. So, we get 6.4 is equal to negative 4.8x. To get the value of x, simply divide both sides by negative 4.8, and the answer is negative 4/3. So if x is equal to negative 4/3, or that is equivalent to negative 1 point what? Negative 1.3333. Okay? Negative 1.333, your k becomes negative 1.6. So check natin kung yung x ba natin na negative 1.33 pasok sa closed interval. Nakapabilang ba sa closed interval yung negative 1.33? Hindi. Then that concludes that the function is really not continuous at this given interval, at the theorem, intermediate value theorem, does not hold the function. So that is the intermediate value theorem. Okay? Another example. We have your piecewise function. Two functions with different conditions. We have also your closed interval, negative 2, 3, and we have your k, negative 1. So, una yung gagawin, aalamin muna yung domain of the function. Okay? Sabi natin dito, the domain of the function is ito, negative 2, 3. Okay? Kasi ito yung pinaka-lowest value ng x natin. Okay? Which is negative 2. Included siya. So, we use brackets. Ito naman, pinaka-maximum is 3, and it is also equal to your x, and then gagamitin tayo ng brackets. So ito yung domain ng ating function. So the function is what? Magiging hindi siya tuloy-tuloy at what? At what value of x sa tingin mo? So ito, x is equal to 1 daw. If x is equal to 1, then your function is equal to, ito, magiging 1 squared minus 4, or that is negative 3. Ito din, equal siya sa x. So if x is equal to 1, another function becomes 1 squared minus 1, or that is 0. The same ba ng value? No. Then, yung limit po, yung function po natin is not continuous. Hindi siya tuloy-tuloy at x is equal to 1. Kasi nga magkaiba yung value ng x is equal to 1 natin. Okay? So, hindi magiging continuous yung function, piecewise function, at x is equal to 1. Hence, f is not continuous on the closed interval negative 3. So, ano ibig sabihin nito? Ibig sabihin na hindi natin pwedeng gamitin yung IVT or the intermediate value theorem on the interval negative 2, 3. And also note, however, na merong tuloy-tuloy na functions, okay, sa given interval natin, which is at what? At negative 2, 0 naman. Okay? So, tuloy-tuloy yung function on the interval negative 2, 0 natin. So, gamitin natin yung k natin. If we let k, let's see, kung yung value ng k natin is equal to negative 1, then your f of c is equal to k, di ba? And f of c is equal to negative 1. Saan dito yung negative 1 natin? So, ito. Napabilang siya sa condition na to. So, we will use this equation. So, we have x squared minus 4 is equal to negative 1. X squared. Okay, x squared. Transpose sa kabila. We get positive 3. To get the value of x square root both sides, we get either positive or negative square root of 3. So dito, we will reject your x is equal to what? To positive 3. Bakit natin i-reject to? Since it is not in the given domain of your x squared minus 4. Kasi yung napabilang lang dito, the value of x's must be in the middle of in between or part ng negative 2 and 1. Since yung square root of 3 is approximately equal to 1.73, napabilang ba siya sa interval na negative to 1? Hindi. Okay? So we will reject x is equal to 3. So how about x is equal to negative square root of 3? It is also estimated to negative 1.73. Makikita ba siya sa pagitan ng negative 2, 1? Yes, makikita siya. Okay, so then we can get a c, which is an element of negative 2, 0. Okay, negative 2, 0 such that f of c is equal to negative 1. Okay? So, hindi nag-hold ng IVT yung ating function because discontinuous siya at x is equal to 1. Okay? Another example. Okay, for example, we have the function 3x squared minus x squared minus 3x plus 1. So, dito aalamin natin kung yung intervals ba ng function natin contains a 0 of f using IZT. So, when we talk about IZT, magkakaroon lamang tayo ng IZT 0 or intermediate 0 dito sa ating function if there exists a c which is an element of your interval such that f of c is equal to 0. Na kung saan, yung f of a natin becomes negative while your f of b natin becomes positive. Okay? Or, yung f of a natin and f of b have opposite signs. Then there exists a c which is your 0 of your function. Okay? So, para mas mabilis, yung gagawin natin dito is to know the function na lang. Okay? So here, the function is 3x squared minus x squared minus 3x plus 1. Okay, para malaman kung may 0 ba talaga yung function natin, we will equate this to 0. Okay, equate natin sa 0. Then, by factoring, factors of 3x squared, 3x cubed pala to. Okay, so it must be 3x cubed. 3x cubed minus x squared minus 3x plus 1 or x squared minus 1 times 3x minus 1, which is equal to 0. Or we can factor further the x squared minus 1. That is, x plus 1 times x minus 1 times 3x minus 1 is equal to 0. Then we will get, okay, divide both sides by each term to get the roots, okay, of your function. So, isa, x is plus 1 is equal to 0. Yung isa naman, x minus 1 is equal to 0. The other one is 3x minus 1 is equal to 0. Transposed, we get negative 1. Transposed, we get positive 1. Transposed, we get x is equal to 1/3. So, ito yung mga zeros ng ating function. We have the negative 1, positive 1, and 1/3. Okay, again, ito yung mga zeros ng ating function. So, titingnan naman natin yung interval kung alin dito yung interval na nagko-contain ng 0 natin. Okay? So, again yung zeros natin are negative 1, 1, and 1/3. So, unang interval, we have negative 1, 1. So, this is an example of half open interval. Okay, na kung saan yung negative 1 here is part of the solution but 1 is not. Okay? So, kasama ba yung interval nito? Okay? Yes, makikita yung negative 1. Okay? So, this is an example. Okay, so yes, kasama yung interval natin. Kasi naglalaman siya ng 0 ng function natin which is negative 1. Okay? At x is equal to negative 1. Okay? And also, kasama din yung 1/3. And also, positive 1/3. How about yung second interval? The negative 3 and 2. So, this is an example of open interval na kung saan hindi kasama yung negative 3 and also hindi kasama yung 2. But, yung mga nasa gitna ng negative 3, 2 kasama. Okay, nandito ba si negative 1? Nandito. Si 1 nandito. Si 1/3 nandito. So, yes, kasama yung interval nito because lahat ng zeros natin ay makikita dito. Okay? So, how about 2, 3? Okay, another example of half open interval. Andito ba si negative 1? Wala. Andito ba si 1? Wala din. Andito ba si 1/3? Wala din. So this is not included in the interval of your function. Okay? Not included. How about negative 1, 1? So ito kasama yung negative 1, yung 1 at yung mga nasa gitna nito. Okay? Andito ba si negative 1? Yes. Andito si positive 1? Yes. Andito ba si 1/3? Yes. Nasa gitna. So, kabilang yung interval nito. And then, naglalaman ng 0 ng functions natin. Okay? At x is equal to negative 1, 1, and 1/3. Another example. So, we have the function is equal to x plus 4 over x squared minus 9. So, let's try to use the IZT method naman, okay? Gamit yung IZT or the intermediate zero theorem, okay? So, let's say for example, ito muna, sa interval na negative 1 and 1. So, interval negative 1, 1, your A here is equal to negative 1 and your B is equal to 1 also. Okay, check natin kung yung sagot sa A and B, f of A and f of B, o have opposite signs. Kung magkaiba yung signs nila, so that means makikita natin yung 0 nito. Okay, let's compute first for this interval muna. So, f of A is equal to f of negative 1. So, f of negative 1 is equal to, ito, so lahat ng x magiging negative 1. Negative 1 plus 4 is equal to negative 1 squared minus 9. Simplify, we get 3 over negative 8. And the sign is negative. Okay, titingnan na natin yung sign. So, ito is negative. Let's look for f of b. So, f of b is equal to f of 1 naman. F of 1 is equal to, lahat ng x dito magiging 1. We get 1 plus 4 over 1 squared minus 9. That is 5 over negative 8. And the sign is also negative. So that means, hindi napabilang yung interval na to. Okay? Hindi siya naglalaman ng 0 ng function natin. Kasi nga, both A and B have negative signs. Okay? So how about ito naman? So if A is negative 3 and B is 2 naman natin, we will look for f of A, which is your f of negative 3. So f of negative 3 is equal to, lahat ng x na to maging negative 3. So we get negative 3 plus 4 over negative 3 squared minus 9. We get 1 over 0. That is undefined. Okay, since undefined, we will not use negative or positive signs here. Okay? Hindi tayo gagamit ng negative signs or positive signs here. Okay? Then, how about your f of b? So, f of b must be equal to f of 2. Okay, so f of 2 here is equal to 2 plus 4 over 2 squared minus 9. That is equal to 6 over negative 5. And then we will use negative here. Since sa interval natin, hindi kasama yung negative 3, so instead of negative 3, we will use negative 2. Okay? Since hindi naman kasama yung negative 3 natin. So why not? We will use negative 2. Okay? Kung negative 2 yung A natin, so the functions become, so ito, magiging negative 2 plus 4, that is 2, over 4 minus 9, that is equal to negative 5. So the function, the sign is also negative. Okay? So that concludes na hindi din kasama yung zeros natin dito. So yung interval na to is also not part of your function. Hindi makikita yung zeros nito. Okay? So let's use 2, 3 naman. So our f of A is equal to f of 2. Thus, f of 2 is equal to 2 plus 4. Lahat ng x na magiging 2. So we have 2 squared minus 9. That is 6 over negative 5. So we have negative for f of A. For f of B naman, we have f of 3. F of 3 is equal to, okay, f of 3 is equal to, ano na tayo? So, 3 plus 4 over 3 squared minus 9. That is your undefined. Okay? So, undefined yung sagot natin dito. Okay? Undefined yung sagot. let's try to use positive 2. Check natin. If b natin is positive 2, kasi, okay, it will yields also to negative here. So that means your interval 2, 3 does not contain 0 of your function. Okay, how about negative 1, 1? So f of a is equal to f of negative 1. F of negative 1 is equal to negative 1 plus 4 over negative 1 squared minus 9. That is 3 over negative 8. So we have negative. Okay? So paano naman kung gagamitin natin yung f of... Ito naman tayo sa f of b. F of b is equal to f of 1. F of 1 is equal to 1 plus 4 over 1 squared minus 9. That is 5 over negative 8. Okay, negative then. So that means wala pong interval dito na nag-hold ng zeros of our functions. Okay? So that's it. So malalaman natin na wala siyang zero. Lahat ng intervals na to does not contain your zeros kasi nga, what is the zero of your function? So simply we will what? We will equate your functions to 0. So x plus 4 over x squared minus 9 is equal to 0. So transpose, we get x, cross multiply rather, x plus 4 is equal to 0. And then your x is equal to negative 4. Okay? So 0 of your function is at x is equal to negative 4. So sa lahat ng interval nito, nasaan sa negative 4? Wala. Okay? Wala dito yung x is equal to negative 4. Then, lahat ng intervals na to does not contain the zero of your function. So that is your intermediate value theorem and the intermediate zero theorem. Okay, so balikan na muna natin to. Gamitin natin yung theorem natin kanina sa IZT. Okay, so ito si 3x cubed minus x squared minus 3x plus 1. Ito yung function natin. So one of the intervals na naglalaman ng 0 is at negative 1, 1. Okay? Gamitin natin yung IZT to check kung naglalaman talaga siya ng 0 at the function. So your f of a is equal to f of negative 1. Then your f of negative 1, lahat ng x dito magiging negative 1. That is 3 times negative 1 cubed minus negative 1 squared minus 3 times negative 1 plus 1. That is 3 times negative 1 minus 1 plus 3 minus 1. So we get negative 3 minus 1 plus 4. Negative 4 plus 4 is equal to 0. Okay, so that means napabilang yung negative 1 ito. And this is your 0. Okay? So let's say for example, how about yung letter, ito, yung interval na ito. Interval negative 3 and 2. Check natin na. So, f of a natin is equal to f of negative 3. Lahat ng x na nasa equation magiging negative 3. So, f of negative 3 is equal to 3 times negative 3 cubed minus negative 3 squared minus 3 times negative 3 plus 1. We get 3. Negative 3 times negative 3, 9, negative 27. We get negative 9 plus 9 plus 1. So, cancel here. So, 3 times negative 27 is negative 81 plus 1. We get negative 80. Okay? Then the sign is negative for f of a. Check natin yung f of b naman. So, dapat, since yung interval na negative 3, 2, or rather, interval na nagkakontain ng 0 natin, so dapat yung f of b natin, which is f of 2, the answer must be positive. Check natin kung positive. So f of 2 is equal to 3 times 2 cubed minus 2 squared minus 3 times 2 plus 1. We get 8, 4, 6 plus 1, 24, minus 10 plus 1, 14 plus 1, that is 15. So positive. That concludes na naglalaman ito ng 0 kasi one is negative and the other is positive. That concludes that interval negative 3, 2 is an interval that contains your 0 of your function. So that's all for your intermediate value theorem and the intermediate zero theorem. See you.